If you grew up in the 1970s, you survived a world that most people today couldn't even imagine. You experienced a unique kind of childhood that shaped you in ways psychology is only now beginning to understand. And if you've ever felt like you see the world differently, like you're tougher than most, or like you process challenges in ways others don't quite get, there's a powerful reason for that. You're not stuck in the past. You're not outdated. You're forged from experiences that created rare psychological strengths most people will never develop. In this video, we explore the 5 rare psychological traits that define those who grew up in the 1970s. These aren't nostalgic memories. These are actual adaptations your brain developed during a formative decade that changed you at a neurological level. If you've ever been called too independent, too skeptical, or too resilient, you're about to understand why. And you'll discover how these traits make you uniquely equipped for challenges others struggle to handle. You developed radical self-reliance that borders on hyper-independence. Here's what's happening in your brain. Growing up in the 70s meant your parents weren't hovering over you. You left the house in the morning and came back when the streetlights turned on. No cell phones, no GPS tracking, no constant supervision. Your brain learned to problem solve without immediate adult intervention, which created neural pathways for independent decision, making that remain exceptionally strong today. This might show up as difficulty asking for help even when you genuinely need it. You might find yourself automatically assuming you have to figure everything out alone, or feeling uncomfortable when others offer assistance. People might call you stubborn or say you don't know how to accept support. But this isn't dysfunction. This is adaptive self-sufficiency. Psychology calls this earned autonomy, and it's a rare trait in today's world where many adults struggle to make decisions without consulting others first. Your childhood taught you that you could trust yourself, and that trust became hardwired into how you navigate life. That's not a weakness. That's a survival skill most people never fully develop. You possess environmental awareness that functions like a sixth sense. Here's what's happening in your brain. The 1970s world required constant situational awareness. You navigated neighborhoods without adult supervision, assessed risks on your own, and learned to read environments for safety cues. Your brain developed heightened pattern recognition and threat assessment capabilities because your survival actually depended on it. This might show up as always knowing where the exits are, automatically scanning rooms when you enter them, or sensing tension in situations before others notice anything wrong. You might find yourself picking up on subtle body language cues or environmental changes that others completely miss. People might say you're paranoid or overly cautious. But this isn't anxiety. This is adaptive vigilance. Psychology calls this environmental scanning, and it's a protective mechanism that keeps you safe in ways others don't even realize they need. While today's generation grew up with safety nets and constant supervision, you developed the rare ability to assess and respond to your surroundings instinctively. That heightened awareness isn't fear. It's intelligence. It's your brain protecting you using skills it mastered decades ago. You have emotional self-regulation that can seem almost detached. Here's what's happening in your brain. The 1970s didn't have the emotional support systems we understand today. Your parents didn't validate every feeling or help you process every disappointment. You got hurt on the playground, you dealt with it. You had a bad day, you moved forward. Your brain learned to regulate emotions internally because external emotional support simply wasn't the cultural norm. This might show up as appearing calm in crisis situations where others panic. You might find yourself uncomfortable with excessive emotional expression, or you might process difficult feelings privately rather than seeking immediate comfort. People might call you cold or emotionally unavailable. But this isn't emotional suppression. This is internal emotional processing. Psychology calls this self-soothing capacity, and it's an incredibly valuable skill that allows you to function under pressure. You're not disconnected from your emotions. You've just developed the rare ability to experience them without being controlled by them. While others need external validation to feel stable, you built that stability internally. That's not indifference. That's emotional mastery. You developed risk assessment skills that make you both brave and strategic. Here's what's happening in your brain. Growing up in the 70s meant taking physical risks that would horrify modern parents. You climbed trees, rode bikes without helmets, built dangerous things, and explored without boundaries. Your brain learned to calculate genuine risk versus perceived danger through direct experience, creating sophisticated risk assessment neural networks. This might show up as being willing to take calculated risks others avoid, while simultaneously recognizing truly dangerous situations faster than your peers. You might find yourself frustrated by excessive safety culture or unnecessary precautions. People might say you're reckless or don't take things seriously enough, but this isn't carelessness. This is experiential wisdom. Psychology calls this risk calibration, and it's a rare ability to distinguish between real threats and manufactured fears. Your childhood taught you that not every risk is a danger, and not every danger is worth avoiding. You learned through consequence, which created judgment skills that can't be taught from textbooks. That's not irresponsibility. That's practical intelligence earned through lived experience. You possess resource management skills that border on ingenious creativity. Here's what's happening in your brain. The 1970s meant limited resources and limited options. You didn't have instant access to everything. If you wanted entertainment, you created it. If something broke, you fixed it. If you needed something, you made it work with what you had. Your brain developed exceptional creative problem-solving abilities because scarcity forced innovation. This might show up as automatically thinking of multiple solutions to problems, feeling uncomfortable with waste, or being able to improvise effectively with limited materials. You might find yourself fixing things others would just replace, or creating solutions from seemingly nothing. People might call you cheap, or say you can't let things go. But this isn't hoarding or stubbornness. This is adaptive resourcefulness. Psychology calls this creative constraint utilization, and it's a rare cognitive flexibility that allows you to see potential where others see limitations. Your brain was trained to maximize resources, which created innovation pathways most people never develop. That's not being stuck in scarcity. That's possessing abundance, thinking that knows how to create value from anything. If you've ever been called too independent, too tough, or too different, now you understand why. These aren't flaws. These are specialized psychological adaptations that make you uniquely capable of handling uncertainty, crisis, and challenge. The truth is, growing up in the 1970s created a specific type of resilience that simply cannot be replicated in today's protected, supervised, digitally connected world. Your childhood forged neural pathways for survival, problem solving, and self-sufficiency that remain your greatest strengths. Subscribe for more psychology insights that explain who you really are and why your unique experiences shaped you into someone genuinely rare. If this brought up difficult emotions from your past, consider reaching out to support. You deserve care even as you continue being remarkably strong.